Hi, we're going to talk about relative maximum and minima on intervals, and so we are looking at this graph over here. This graph is a function. It's a cubic, most likely, although the formula is not given to us. But we can see where it's rising and falling. Now, we always move from left to right when we're thinking of our x values. And then what we're looking at are the y values, whether they're rising or falling. So let's look at our graph here. So I would say, get a different color. We are increasing along here. Now, from left to right, the x values, as the x values increase, the y values increase. Now, something happens here, and it starts to decrease over this interval, and then and it goes to 0 here. So the increasing goes to 0. Actually, our value is at negative 19, but then we begin to increase as we head this way. Now, when we report this information, we're going to report it as an x interval. So the x interval from left to right, where are the y values increasing? So we're actually not reporting the y values, but the x values. Anyway, so let's talk about this 2 points here. This is our relative max, and when we say relative, it's a local maximum. This is what we call a relative minimum, and what a relative maximum is, it's the largest in an area, in a local region. It's not the largest overall. I mean, there's obviously some values that are bigger outside of here, but in that local region, it is the largest value for any x value nearby. And the same thing with this relative minimum. At negative 19, it's the smallest value. If you go to the right or the left, the y values get bigger. So that we call relative minimum. So let's see how we report it. So the relative maximum is a -1, and it occurs at x equals -4. The relative minimum is a negative 19, and it occurs at 2. Now, the intervals of increasing, decreasing depend on those maximums and minimums. They kind of break it up into the pieces that determine where it changes. So relative extremes are where the increasing, decreasing changes. So in what intervals is the function increasing? Well, it's increasing from negative infinity. So we're talking about negative infinity way out here to this point right here. We're looking at x interval from negative infinity all the way over to -4. To right there, and then as far as x interval, it continues to increase from here at +2 out to positive infinity. So that's what we're talking about. The x values is what we're reporting of where the y values are rising or falling. In this case, where they're when I say rising, increasing, and when they're falling, I'm calling that decreasing. So in what intervals is the function increasing? Well, from negative infinity to -4, and from 2 to positive infinity. That would be d. On which interval is the function decreasing? Well, here in the middle. Now, remember, we need to report the x values, so it'd be -4 to 2. This means x between -4 and +2. All right, that's it for now. We'll check back with you in a minute.